In the early hours of February 28, 2026, the world woke up to the sound of war.
The United States and Israel had launched Operation Epic Fury, a coordinated airstrike campaign unlike anything. The targets: Iran's military installations, its nuclear sites, Wimver, and its leadership.
Supreme Leader Ali was killed. The world held its breath.
Washington's message was blunt and unmistakable. Kini, Iran's oil would stop flowing.
Iran's economy, already strangled by years of sanctions, began to tremble.
But Tehran did not bow. It turned its eyes toward the sea.
The Strait of Hormuz, barely 21 miles wide, is the throat of the world's oil supply. Every single day, 25% of the world's seaborne oil passes through this single ribbon of water.
Iran issued its warning like a thunderclap. No ally of America or Israel would pass.
On the evening of March 2nd, an Indian sailor stood his post in the engine room of the MKD Vyom.
The ship was a Marshall Islands flagged oil tanker, 59,000 metric tons of cargo in her belly.
52 nautical miles off the coast of Muscat, Oman. He never heard it coming. A bomb-carrying drone boat. Silent, precise, deadly. It struck the engine room.
Fire tore through the hull. One man was killed instantly. Sterond, an Indian national, in the engine room.
21 crew members remained aboard. Indian, Bangladeshi, Ukrainian, all in mortal danger. Bhago, jaldi koro, amra bipode achi, edike ashun.
It is with great sadness that we confirm one crew member, who was in the engine room at the time, has died.
The Panamanian ship MV Sand arrived to pull survivors from the burning vessel. One by one, they came off the ship, shaken, singed, alive.
Back in New Delhi, India's foreign ministry summoned Iran's ambassador in protest.
The unnamed Indian sailor had become the human face of a geopolitical war he never chose.
But he was not the last to die in these waters. The Gulf of Oman had become a graveyard, disguised as a shipping lane. The MKD VYOM was not an isolated incident. It was the opening note in a violent symphony.
Iran's IRGC launched 21 confirmed attacks on merchant ships.
They reportedly laid sea mines in the strait itself.
A tanker burned near the port of Bahrain. A port worker was killed.
In Kuwait, off Basra, near Abu Dhabi, fire after fire after fire.
A tugboat was dispatched to rescue a stricken vessel. It, too, was struck. It sank. 3 African-American crew members, 2 male, 1 female, went missing. The sea offered no answers. Maersk, Hapag-Lloyd, CMA-CGM, the giants of global shipping Plymouth.
Vessels were rerouted around the Cape of Good Hope, adding 10 days and millions of dollars to every journey.
War risk insurance premiums surged. For the largest tankers, each crossing now cost $250,000 more.
Global oil prices exploded. Fuel costs climbed on every continent.
The war in the Persian Gulf was now a war in every wallet on Earth.
200 vessels sat anchored outside the strait, waiting, afraid.
Washington had seen enough. America moved to squeeze Iran from every angle.
The U.S. broadened its blockade, boarding, searching, seizing any Iran-linked vessel on the high seas, anywhere in the world. 177 Iranian-linked tankers were identified worldwide, many operating under fraudulent flags.
Then came the moment that defined the standoff.
The USS Spruance intercepted the Iranian-flagged Tosca in the Gulf of Oman.
The crew refused to stop. America fired.
Trump posted on Truth Social, "Our Navy stopped them right in their tracks."
Tehran called it armed piracy. They vowed to retaliate.
Two powers, two blockades, one narrow, irreplaceable strip of water. The U.S. military directed 25 commercial vessels to turn around, enforcing its siege of Iranian ports.
And the clock was ticking.
By mid-April, more than 20,000 seafarers were stranded on hundreds of ships in the Gulf.
They had nothing to do with this war. They were just doing their jobs.
Cruise ships, tankers, cargo vessels with bombs, drifting in holding patterns, crews rationing food.
On April 17th, Iran announced it was reopening the strait. The world exhaled. But within hours, the relief vanished. Iran reimposed restrictions. The strait went dark again.
Threatened to knock out every power plant, every bridge in Iran fairlies if there was no deal by Wednesday.
In Washington, protesters stormed congressional offices.
They chanted, "Not another nickel! Not another dime!
On both sides of the world, ordinary people bore the weight of decisions made by a few powerful men. The ceasefire was set to expire April 23rd. No extension had been announced.
But somewhere between the burning ships and the war rooms, diplomats were quietly building a bridge.
Iran's foreign ministry said, "No decision has been made. Their participation fully uncertain."
In Paris, the UK and France convened 40 nations to press for the strait's reopening.
Pakistan's foreign minister worked the phones Ahmadiyad, urging both Tehran and Washington toward the table.
Washington's demand, open the strait, end the nuclear program. Iran's demand, end the war, lift the blockade.
Permanently.
Neither side had yet found a way to say yes without losing face. The deadlock held.
The Strait of Hormuz land, indifferent to flags and ultimatums, simply waits.
That Indian sailor did not choose this war. He was simply there boned, earning his wage, dreaming of home.
The strait can be reopened. Treaties can be signed. But the men lost in these dark waters